If you saw my last short, I was unboxing a bunch of supplies for an upcoming project. I asked you to guess, and if you guessed graduation caps, you would totally be right. The idea was to use this shiny build plate to get shiny effects on the base of my prints. That way the grad cap would reflect in the light when you walked across the stage. Unfortunately, I ran into major build adhesion issues where my prints just wouldn't stick and they would get ruined halfway through. And of course, adding glue onto the build plate would totally counteract the shiny effect that printing on it would give. If anyone's used build sheets like this before, any tips are greatly appreciated. In Onshape, I created my CAD model that was 3 layer heights thick, 0.2mm layer height, 0.6mm thick. Brought that into Bamboo Studio where I applied colors for my print. Make sure you flip your print over if you're planning to have the colors on the bottom side using the shiny sheet. Anyway, after 2 layers, I added a pause in the slicer so that my printer would pause. I'd be able to lay down the mesh and secure it with magnets on the build plate and then continue the last layer. I also ended up decreasing the initial layer print speed so that I would get better results, and I switched back to my normal full plate that the X1C comes with. I could not for the life of me get my whole print to stick on the shiny sheet. One thing about my graduation is that you don't actually get to keep the grad caps. They are part of a rental, and after walking the stage you have to return them. So with that in mind, I printed the custom design on some mesh and then sewed that to some black felt in order to give a structured base to the cap and make that design pop a little bit better. I used some of my other craft supplies like ribbons and cord and pearls to kind of decorate the cap. One of these caps was for my very close friend who graduated from Masters of Electrical Engineering, so I added little resistors and LEDs hidden on her cap. I discovered a fun way to make these little flowers by printing flat on a piece of mesh and then folding the petals upwards after cutting it out, and I think it added some nice volume to the final cap. Overall, I really love how these turned out, and I'm happy I could use 3D printing in a new creative way. Let me know if you'd like a full video on how I made these. Catch you in the next one.